What if I told you that your garden is not hard because you are bad at gardening? Maybe you are just growing the wrong vegetables. Some plants demand attention every day. They wilt, they rot, they get attacked, they make you feel like quitting. But there are other plants, my people, that almost want to grow. You give them soil, sun, a little water, and they give you food without all the drama. My name is Zion. I'm 55 years old, and after many years growing food, I learned something simple. A smart gardener does not always work harder. A smart gardener chooses plants that work with him. Today, I'm going to show you 20 vegetables so easy to grow that even a lazy gardener can get a harvest. And stay with me, because one of them grows so fast you can plant it and eat it in less than a month. Another one can come back from kitchen scraps. And near the end, I'll give you one simple trick that makes almost all of them even easier. Before we begin, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. I grow easy food because gardening should feed you, not stress you. Let's begin. The first plant I want to talk about is zucchini. And listen, my people, zucchini does not play. The biggest problem with zucchini is not growing it. The biggest problem is growing too much. You plant a seed in warm soil after frost, give it sun, give it space, and before long this plant starts giving you fruit again and again. 1 or 2 plants can be enough for a whole family, sometimes too much for a family. That is why gardeners joke about leaving zucchini on neighbors' porches. Zucchini loves warm weather, decent soil, and steady water at the base. Do not soak the leaves too much because wet leaves can invite disease. Harvest when the fruit is still young and tender. If you let it grow too big, it becomes tough. Zion tip: pick often, and the plant keeps producing. Now tell me in the comments, have you ever grown too much zucchini? Write zucchini problem if you know what I mean. Now let's talk about green beans. Green beans are one of those crops that make a beginner feel like a professional. You do not need fancy skills. You put the seeds straight into the soil after frost, and they come up fast. Bush beans stay compact. Pole beans climb and produce longer. And here is the beautiful part. Beans help feed the soil while they feed you. They work with nitrogen in the ground, so they do not ask for much fertilizer. That is old wisdom right there. A plant that gives food and improves the garden. Keep picking the beans, and they keep making more. If you leave too many old pods on the plant, it slows down. So harvest often, that is the secret. Comment beans if you want a plant that feeds you and helps the soil at the same time. Now, if you are impatient, this next one is for you. Radishes. Radishes are the quick win of the garden. Some are ready in about 3 to 4 weeks. That means while other seeds are still thinking about growing, radishes are already on your plate. You plant the seeds directly in cool weather, keep the soil moist, and wait. That is almost everything. They grow fast, they show you results quickly, and they build confidence. If you have never grown food before, start with radishes. Because the first harvest changes something in your mind. You stop saying, maybe I can grow food. You start saying, I am growing food. And that matters. If you need a quick garden victory, comment below. I need a quick win. Now we come to lettuce. Lettuce is one of the easiest ways to stop buying expensive salad greens. And the trick is this: do not pull the whole plant too early. Harvest the outer leaves and let the center keep growing. That is called cut and come again. You cut, it comes again. Simple. Lettuce likes cool weather and moist soil. It does not like extreme heat. In hot areas, give it some shade. You can grow lettuce in beds, pots, window boxes, even small containers. And if you plant a little every couple of weeks, you keep the harvest coming. Fresh lettuce from your own garden tastes different, not tired, not wilted, not trapped in plastic, alive. If you want fresh salads at home, comment fresh greens. Now let's talk about cherry tomatoes. Regular tomatoes can sometimes be picky, but cherry tomatoes, they are wild little producers. Give them sun, give them support, water at the base, and they will reward you with handfuls of sweet fruit. They are more forgiving than big tomatoes, more productive, and many varieties keep going until frost. This is the tomato I recommend when someone says, Zion, I always fail with tomatoes. I say, start with cherry tomatoes, pick them often, eat them in the garden, put them in salads, let the children harvest them. Cherry tomatoes make gardening fun. And when a plant makes people excited to go outside, that plant is valuable. Comment cherry tomato if this is one you would grow. Now comes cucumber. Cucumbers love heat, sun, water, and something to climb. If you grow them on a trellis, you save space and make harvest easier. The fruit stays cleaner, the leaves get more air, and you can see what is growing. The key with cucumbers is moisture. If they dry out too much, the fruit can become bitter, so mulch around the base and water consistently. Also, harvest often. If you let big old cucumbers sit on the vine, the plant thinks its job is done. Pick them young and the plant keeps working. That is a lesson for the whole garden. Harvest keeps abundance moving. If you love cucumbers fresh, pickled, or in salads, comment crunchy. Now let's talk about Swiss chard. This plant does not get enough respect. Swiss chard is strong. It handles heat better than spinach. It handles some cold. It tolerates imperfect soil. And it keeps giving leaves for months. You plant it once, and you can keep harvesting the outer leaves while the center keeps growing. Some varieties have bright, colorful stems: red, yellow, orange, pink. So it looks like food and decoration at the same time. If you want a leafy green that is not dramatic, grow Swiss chard. It does not complain like lettuce in the heat. It does not quit easily. It just keeps giving. Comment below strong greens if you want a plant like that. Now we come to kale. Some people love kale. Some people say they are tired of hearing about kale. But listen, we must respect a plant that can handle cold and keep producing. Kale is tough. A little frost can even make it taste sweeter. You harvest the lower leaves first and leave the center growing. That way the plant keeps producing for a long time. Kale is one of those crops that makes sense for people who want food beyond summer. Spring, fall, even winter in mild places, kale can keep standing. And in a survival garden, that matters. You do not only want food when everything is easy, you want food when the weather changes. If you respect tough plants, comment kale power. Now let's talk about peas. Peas are one of the first gifts of the cool season. You can plant them early, even when the weather still feels cold. They do not need hot soil like beans. They like cool air. Give them something to climb, keep the soil moist, and let them grow. Snap peas are especially beautiful because you can eat the pod and the pea together. Sweet, crunchy, fresh from the vine. Like beans, peas also help improve the soil through nitrogen. So again, nature gives us a plant that feeds us and helps the garden. The harvest season is not long, so pick often and enjoy it while it lasts. Comment peas if you like eating them straight from the vine. Now, potatoes. Some people think potatoes are hard. But potatoes want to grow so badly that they sprout in a dark pantry. That tells you something. Take a sprouted potato, cut it into pieces with eyes, let it dry a bit, and plant it in loose soil. As the plant grows, you cover the stems with soil or straw. That is called hilling. It helps more potatoes form, and when harvest comes, it feels like treasure hunting. You dig, and suddenly there is food under the soil. Potatoes are filling, useful, and satisfying. You can grow them in beds, buckets, grow bags, or straw. If you want a crop that feels like finding buried treasure, comment potato treasure. Now we come to garlic. Garlic may be one of the best lazy gardener crops. You plant cloves in the fall, pointy side up, cover them, and then you walk away. They sleep through winter, wake up in spring, and become full bulbs by summer. One clove becomes one bulb. That alone is magic. And if you save some bulbs for planting again, you can keep the cycle going. Hardneck garlic gives you scapes in spring, those curling green shoots that are delicious. Softneck garlic stores longer. Garlic does not ask for much. Good drainage, sun, and a little patience. If you want to stop buying garlic one day, comment plant garlic. Now let's talk about sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes look complicated, but they are not. You can start slips from a sweet potato. Those slips become plants. Those plants become vines. And under the soil, they make food. Sweet potatoes love heat. They love sun. They like loose soil. And once they start spreading, their vines help shade the ground and suppress weeds. That means less work for you. A single sweet potato can give you many slips. That is abundance from one root. Now, they do need time to mature. But during that time, they do not demand much heat, space, and patience. Comment sweet potato if you would grow food from one root. Now, peppers. Peppers are simple once you get them started. They like warmth, they like sun, they like well-drained soil, and they do not need too much fuss. Hot peppers are especially easy. Jalapenos, serranos, cayenne. These plants can be tough and productive. Bell peppers may need a little more patience, but they are still worth growing. The key is not overwatering. Peppers do not like wet feet all the time. Once the fruit starts forming, steady but moderate water is better. Pick often, and the plant keeps producing. If you like spicy food, comment hot pepper. If you prefer sweet peppers, comment bell pepper. Now comes one many people skip, but they should not. Beets. Beets are a 2-for-1 crop. You get the root and you get the greens. That means before the beetroot is even ready, you can harvest some leaves for cooking. The greens are excellent sautéed with garlic and olive oil. The roots are sweet, earthy, and store well. Beets like cool weather and do not need too much attention. Plant the seeds directly, thin them so they have space, keep the soil moist, and wait. That is it. And if you do not like red beets because they stain everything, grow golden beets. They are milder and cleaner to work with. Comment 2-for-1 if you like crops that give more than one harvest. Now let's talk spinach. Spinach is fast, easy, and perfect for cool weather. It does not like heat. That is where many people fail. They plant spinach when it is too hot and then blame the plant. Plant it in spring or fall. Give it moisture. Give it cooler temperatures, and you can harvest baby leaves quickly. Spinach works well in containers, beds, and partial shade. It is one of those crops that gives you fresh greens before the main summer garden even begins. If you want early greens, comment spinach season. Now basil. Yes, basil is an herb, but I am putting it here because it produces like a vegetable. One basil plant can give you cups and cups of leaves. Pesto. Sauce, salads, tea, seasoning. Basil loves heat and sun, and the secret is pinching. Do not let it grow tall and flower too early. Pinch the tips and the plant branches out. More branches mean more leaves. You can even root basil cuttings in water and make more plants for free. That is the kind of plant Zion respects, a plant that multiplies. If you love basil, comment pesto. Now let's talk green onions. This one is almost too easy. You can grow them from seed, you can grow them from sets, or you can regrow the root ends from store-bought green onions. Put the roots in water, and new green growth appears fast. Move them into soil, and they keep producing better. They take little space. They grow in pots. They grow in corners. They tolerate partial shade. And you snip what you need. No drama. This is one of the best crops for people with small spaces. If you have a windowsill, you can start. Comment regrow if you like food from kitchen scraps. Now turnips. Turnips are fast, simple, and underrated. You plant the seeds directly in cool weather. They grow quickly. They give roots and greens. Again, 2 harvests from one plant. Harvest the roots while they are still young and tender. If you let them get too big, they can become woody or strong in flavor. Turnips do not ask for perfect soil. They tolerate partial shade. They are a good crop for spring and fall. If you want easy root crops, do not ignore turnips. Comment turnip if you have ever grown them. Now, butternut squash. This plant needs space, yes. But once it starts growing, it does a lot of work by itself. The vines spread, the leaves shade the soil, the plant helps suppress weeds, and at the end, you get squash that can store for months. That is valuable. A vegetable that stores well is more than food. It is security. Butternut squash likes heat, sun, and room to run. You plant it after frost and let the vines move. Watch for pests, give water, feed lightly, and let it grow. When the skin hardens and the stem dries, harvest. If you want a crop that feeds you after the season is over, comment store food. Now we end with sunflowers for edible seeds. And I love ending here because sunflowers bring joy to the garden. They are easy, they grow fast, they attract pollinators, they make children smile. They make the garden feel alive, and if you grow the right varieties, you can harvest the seeds. Plant them in full sun after frost, give them decent soil, and watch them rise. When the flower head dries and the seeds are full, cut it and finish drying it in a safe place. Then roast the seeds. Food and beauty from the same plant. That is a blessing. Sunflowers also remind us that a garden should not only feed the body, it should feed the spirit too. Comment sunflower if you want more joy in your garden. Now before you leave, here is the bonus tip that makes almost all of these easier. Mulch. Mulch heavily. Put organic material around your plants. Straw, shredded leaves, grass clippings in thin layers, or wood chips in the right places. Mulch helps suppress weeds, it holds moisture, it keeps roots cooler, it protects the soil, and as it breaks down, it feeds the ground. If you want a lazy garden, do not leave the soil naked. Cover it. That one habit can reduce watering and weeding more than almost anything else. Pair mulch with drip irrigation or soaker hoses, and now you have removed two of the biggest chores, watering and weeding. That is how you make gardening easier. Not by quitting, by setting up the system to help you. So, let's recap. If you want easy food, grow crops like zucchini, beans, radishes, lettuce, cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, Swiss chard, kale, peas, potatoes, garlic, sweet potatoes, peppers, beets, spinach, basil, green onions, turnips, butternut squash, and sunflowers. You do not need all 20. Start with 3. Pick one fast crop, one leafy crop, and one storage crop. For example, radishes for quick harvest, Swiss chard for long greens, potatoes or butternut squash for storage. That is a strong beginning. Now I want to hear from you. Which one will you grow first? Write it in the comments. And if you made it to the end, comment, "I'm growing food." That tells me you are serious. If this video helped you, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel for more simple gardening, natural food, and old wisdom made easy. Share this with someone who thinks gardening is too hard. Maybe they are not bad at gardening. Maybe they just need easier plants. I'm Zion, and I believe the earth still wants to feed us. We just need to choose the right seeds and begin. Blessings, my people. I'll see you in the next video.